Don't scroll, stay here for a moment, because before this message ends, I'll answer the question you've been carrying silently in your heart. Yes, that one, the one you think about late at night. This moment is not random. I called you here. I see you. I saw you when no one noticed your pain. I saw you when you smiled but felt empty inside. Pause, breathe. I know how heavy your thoughts have become. I know how tired your soul feels. I know how often you ask, Jesus, are you still with me? Carefully now. I have never left you. My silence was never absence. My delay was never rejection. Sometimes I am quiet because I am working deeper than you can see. Sometimes I slow things down because rushing would destroy what I am building in you. My child, I am gentle with broken hearts. I am careful with wounded faith. I never rush purpose. I shape it slowly, patiently, lovingly. I saw every tear you wiped away in private. I counted every night you fell asleep exhausted. I heard every prayer you whispered when words felt weak. And hear me now. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You're not failing. You are being prepared. Pause again. Let that truth settle in your heart. Preparation feels uncomfortable. It feels lonely. It feels confusing. But it is necessary. Gold is refined in fire. Faith is refined in waiting, and strength is refined in surrender. You asked me to change your situation, but I've been working on your heart first, because it changed. Heart can survive any storm. My child, what you thought was punishment was protection. What felt like loss was alignment. And what felt like delay was mercy shaping your future. Listen closely now. The door that closed saved you. The relationship that ended protected you. The path that didn't work out redirected you. I know you questioned me. I know you felt confused, but I was guiding you away from what would have broken you later. Pause, breathe again. I never remove something without preparing something better, but better requires trust, and trust grows slowly, especially when you've been hurt. My child, I'm not asking you to understand everything. I am asking you to trust me. Even when it doesn't make sense, even when the road looks unclear, even when your strength feels low, I carry what you cannot. I see what you cannot, and I know the ending even when you cannot see the next step. You keep worrying about tomorrow, but tomorrow already knows my name. You keep fearing the future, but I'm already there. Pause here, let go of the pressure you put on yourself. You were never meant to carry everything alone. My child, rest does not mean giving up. Rest means trusting me enough to stop striving. You don't need to prove your worth. You don't need to earn my love. You already have it completely, unconditionally, even now, especially now. I'm closest when you feel weakest. I'm strongest where you feel broken. Do not measure your life by speed. I work in seasons, and your season is not over. Hear me gently now. I know you compare yourself to others. I know you feel late. I know you wonder why others seem ahead, but comparison steals joy and blinds faith. I did not design your journey to look like anyone else's. Your pace is intentional. Your timing is intentional. Pause. Your waiting is not wasted. Every quiet moment is building depth. Every delay is strengthening roots. Strong trees grow slowly. Deep faith takes time. And my child, you're growing deeper than you realize, even on days you feel stuck, even on days you feel numb. You asked me for a sign. This is it. You asked me if I still care. I do, more than you know. You asked me if your prayers matter. They do, every single one. None were ignored. Some were delayed for your protection. Some were answered differently for your growth. Pause again. I'm not distant. I am intentional. I am not slow. I am precise. Trust my timing. Trust my heart. I have never failed you, even when you thought I did. I was still holding you. Even when you felt alone, I was still guiding you. Now listen very carefully. Pause here because this is where everything begins to connect. The reason you found this message, the reason you didn't scroll away, the reason your heart feels stirred right now, is because what you think is far away is actually closer than you believe. My child, you have been looking for answers outside, while I've been working within. You keep trying to control outcomes, but control is what is exhausting you. Pause, breathe. Surrender is not weakness, surrender is trust. And trust opens doors that effort never can. I'm not asking you to do more. I am asking you to trust deeper. My child, I am about to move in your life. But first, let me lead. Stay with me. Walk with me. Even when you don't understand, because I do, and I always have, my child. I know you're tired of being strong. I know you feel like you're always the one holding everything together. Pause. You were never meant to carry this alone. I see the weight you don't show others. I hear the sighs you release in silence. And listen to me gently now. It is okay to rest. Rest is not quitting. Rest is trusting me enough to stop forcing outcomes. You do not have to earn my love. You already have it. You do not need to prove your worth. It was settled on the cross. Pause again. I am closest when you feel weakest. I am strongest where you feel broken. Do not mistake exhaustion for failure. Sometimes it is simply a sign that you've been carrying what I asked you to give to me. You worry that time is running out, but I am not limited by time. You fear missing your moment, but no one can steal what I have written for you. Pause. I open doors no one can close, and I close doors no one should reopen. My child, delays do not destroy destiny. Impatience does. Trust my pace, trust my timing, even when others move faster. I work deeper. Comparison is draining your peace. Release it. I did not design your journey to look like anyone else's. Your path is sacred. Your timing is intentional, and I am never late. Even when it feels that way to you, hear me now. The season you are in is shaping you, not punishing you. I refine before I reveal. I prepare before I promote. Pause here what you call waiting. I call strengthening what you call silence. I call protection. My child, I am removing what cannot go with you into the next season. That is why it hurts. That is why it feels lonely. But trust me, I only remove what would limit you later. Nothing you truly need will be lost. Nothing meant for you will miss you. I am faithful, even when your emotions feel unstable. You ask me why the road has been so hard. Listen closely, because strength is built here, compassion is born here, faith becomes real here. Pause. Easy paths do not produce deep roots. Storms teach you where your foundation truly is. And my child, your foundation is growing stronger, even if you don't feel it yet. I am teaching you to walk by faith, not by feelings. Feelings change. I do not. My promises stand, even when your confidence shakes. I am holding you steady, securely, even now. Now, listen. This part is important because many leave before this truth. The breakthrough you are praying for will come, but it will come with responsibility. Blessing requires maturity. Pause. That is why I've been shaping your heart first. Humility, patience, obedience, trust. These are not delays. These are preparations. My child, when I move, it will be clear, it will be undeniable, and it will arrive at the right moment. Not early, not late. Exactly on time. Stay faithful, stay open, stay with me. And remember, I'm not done with your story yet. My child, pause with me here, because we're close now, closer than you think. Everything you have heard until this moment was preparing your heart for this truth. You thought I was distant, but I was guiding you quietly. You thought nothing was changing, but I was aligning everything unseen. Listen carefully now. The reason the enemy tried to discourage you, the reason doubt kept whispering, the reason you felt like giving up is because something valuable is coming. Resistance always appears before release. Pressure always increases before purpose is revealed. Pause. Do not quit here. Do not turn back now. You have come too far. Your faith has grown. Your heart has softened. Your vision is clearer, even if your circumstances have not changed yet. My child, faith is not believing after you see. Faith is trusting me before you see, and you are learning that now. Now listen, this is the moment many wait for, the final truth. I never chose you because you were strong. I chose you because you were willing to trust, willing to wait. willing to keep going even when it hurt. My child, you are still here. That alone tells me everything. You did not break, you did not quit, and because you stayed. I will finish what I started, what I promised will come, what I planned will unfold, and what I spoke over your life will stand. Pause one last time, breathe. I am with you always, and if these words reach your heart, Dawn, and before you go, hear this beautiful good news. No matter what you are facing today, you are not alone. God is for you. God is with you. And God is working things out in ways you cannot see yet. That's the good news. Hope is still alive. Grace is still available. And your story is still being written. And if this message brought peace to your heart, if it gave you strength, if it reminded you that Jesus still speaks, then don't let this moment end here. Tap the like button so this message can reach more hearts who need hope today. Share this video with someone who is tired, discouraged, or searching for meaning. And subscribe to this channel now, because on this channel you will receive daily Jesus messages, Christian motivation, faith-based encouragement, and powerful words of hope designed to strengthen your faith every single day. This is a place of peace, truth, and spiritual growth. So stay connected, stay encouraged, and remember, God is not done with you yet. See you in the next message. God bless you. Wait, stop, just for a moment. I'm speaking to you. Yes, you, right now. You're not here by accident, not by chance. You are here because I wanted you here. I know how your mornings feel. I know the heaviness, the weight that presses down on you. Before your feet even touch the floor, the thoughts that rush in. Before hope reaches your heart, the quiet fear that whispers you are not enough. I see the strength you show everyone else, and I see the exhaustion you hide, even from those closest to you. And that is why I asked you to pause here, to stay with me, because the first voice you listen to in the morning guides your heart for the entire day. And I do not want fear to guide you. I do not want anxiety to shape your steps. I do not want the noise of the world to reach you before I do. You don't need perfect words. You don't need long prayers. You only need honesty. Even if all you can offer is silence. I understand silence. I understand the tears you never let fall. I understand the prayers you gave up on because you felt nothing changed. But listen to me now. Just because you didn't see an answer before does not mean I was not working. Sometimes I am preparing you quietly, strengthening you in ways you will only notice later, when life feels too heavy to carry. And today, there will be moments like that. Moments when old fears return. Moments when doubts creep in. Moments when you feel weak or unready. And in those moments, remember this voice. Remember that I am already ahead of you, walking into every conversation, every decision, every challenge you are afraid of. I'm already there, and I'm not asking you to control the whole day. Just take the next step. Just take the next breath. Just the next moment. Before your phone, before the noise, before the world reaches you, let me speak to you first. Let my presence fill your mind and calm your heart. Say this quietly in your soul. Jesus, walk with me today. And even if you feel nothing immediately, trust that peace is coming, because peace does not always arrive loudly. Sometimes peace settles quietly, like the calm before sunrise. I know you have felt alone, even in crowded rooms. I know you have wondered if anyone truly sees you, but I see you fully, not just who you are today, but who you are becoming. I see your efforts, your late nights, your sacrifices, the battles you never speak of. And I am proud of you for still showing up, for still trying, for still hoping. Even when hope feels fragile, you are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are not weak for needing me. You were never meant to carry life alone. And if you're listening right now, and your breathing feels slower, and your heart feels lighter, even just a little, that is me reminding you that you are safe, that you are held, that this day does not have to defeat you. Stay with me. Let my words sink deeper than your worries. Let my peace reach the places fear has occupied for far too long. As the day unfolds, come back to me whenever the weight returns, because I am always here, always listening, always near. And if this message reached you at the start of your day, take it as a sign that I wanted to cover you before anything else touched your mind. Do not keep this moment to yourself. If these words spoke to your heart, share this message with someone who needs to hear that they're not alone, and subscribe to this channel so my voice can reach you again whenever your heart feels tired or lost, because you didn't just find this video today. I found you, and And I will keep finding you every time you need me, every single day, until your heart feels calm, until your soul feels safe, until you remember that you never walk alone. Listen carefully. I did not share these words with everyone. These are the truths I save for those who are broken inside, for those who stand among people yet feel completely alone. If you're hearing this right now, know this is not an accident. I once told you that your greatest battle is not with the world, not with people, not with circumstances. Your greatest battle is within you. The fear that keeps you awake at night, the voice that tells you that you are not enough, the weight you carry silently every single day, until you win this battle inside. No victory outside will ever bring you peace. But this is not the deepest truth, because what I told you goes even deeper. I told you that what you see is not always the truth. Not every smiling face is happy, and not every quiet soul is weak. Some of the strongest people are the ones who are hurting the most. If you're smiling while hiding pain, know this. I see you. I know the tears you never shared, the pain you never spoke out loud. But stay with me, because there is something most people never truly understood. I told you that even my silence is an answer. When you pray and hear nothing, it does not mean I am far away. Sometimes I'm strengthening you. Sometimes I'm shaping your patience. And sometimes I'm watching to see if you still trust me without proof. Silence is not rejection. Silence is preparation. And now listen closely, because the next truth can change your life. I told you that the one who refuses to forgive can never be free. The pain you keep holding on to, the faces you replay in your mind, those people have already moved on, but you're still trapped. Forgiveness is not for them. Forgiveness is for you. The moment you let go, you begin to breathe again. And now, here to the final truth, because I spoke this only to broken hearts. I told you that even when you feel alone, you never truly are. When the world goes quiet and your tears fall in the dark, I am there. When you feel misunderstood, I understand. When you think you cannot go on anymore, I'm holding you. I would leave the whole world behind before I ever leave you. Your pain is seen, your struggle matters, and your story is not over yet. If these words reach your heart, do not ignore this moment. Subscribe to this channel now, because what you will hear here will continue to heal, strengthen, and awaken your soul. And share this video with someone who is silently struggling, because they may be waiting for this message, just like you were. Today, I want you to listen carefully, not like you listen to background noise, not like a video playing while you scroll. I want you to really listen, because what you're about to hear is not a story, not motivation, and not religion the way people usually talk about it. This is about something much deeper. And if you stay with me till the end, you'll understand why so many people feel empty even when their lives look perfect on the outside. Picture this for a moment. A man has money, success, respect, and freedom. People look at him and say he's living the dream. But every night, when the lights are off and no one is watching, his heart feels heavy. There's a quiet question inside him that never goes away. Why do I still feel incomplete? That question is not rare. Millions of people are asking it right now, silently. Jesus Christ once said something that sounds simple, but carries a terrifying truth. What does it profit a man to gain the whole world and yet lose his soul? Most people hear this and move on. Very few stop and let it hit them. Because if this is true, then chasing everything the world promises might be the very thing draining us inside. The world tells you to become more, earn more, prove more. Jesus tells you to pause, to look inward, and to remember who you really are. That contrast alone is enough to make people uncomfortable. Here's the uncomfortable part. People didn't reject Jesus because he lacked power. They rejected him because he exposed truth. Truth that challenged pride. Truth that questioned identity. Truth that forced people to choose between comfort and transformation. And this leads to a question you may have never asked yourself honestly. If Jesus were standing in front of you today, would you truly listen? Or would you turn away the moment his words touched something you didn't want to change? Don't answer yet. Because what comes next explains why this question matters more than you think. When Jesus walked among people, he didn't speak like a politician to try to please everyone. He didn't soften truth to protect feelings. And that's exactly why crowds followed him and why many eventually left. At first, people loved the miracles. They loved the healing, the food, the hope. But when Jesus started talking about the heart, about surrender, about dying to the old self, the crowd became uncomfortable. There's a moment in the Bible when many disciples quietly walked away from him. No argumento, no protest. They just left. Why? Because his words were too heavy, too real, too demanding. And that same thing still happens today. We live in a time where everyone wants blessings, but very few want transformation. People want peace, but not repentance. They want comfort, but not correction. Jesus never promised comfort first. He promised truth first, and truth has a cost. Jesus looked at people society had rejected, sinners, broken souls, the forgotten, and he didn't see labels. He saw hearts, but he also never said, stay the same. His message was always clear, follow me. And following him meant letting go of what you were clinging to. Ask yourself something honestly. What are you holding on to so tightly that you wouldn't want God to touch it? Is it pride, control, fear, a secret no one knows? This is where most people stop listening. Because Jesus doesn't just fix problems. He changes direction. And change feels like loss before it feels like freedom. Here's the open truth most people never hear. Jesus is not dangerous to your life. He's dangerous to your comfort. And that's why people admire him from a distance, but hesitate to truly follow him. But this still doesn't explain the biggest mystery. If Jesus taught love, forgiveness, and truth, why did his life end on a cross? The answer to that changes everything. The cross was not an accident. It was not a failure. And it was not the end of Jesus' story. It was the moment everything he taught became undeniable. Because the cross reveals how far love is willing to go when truth refuses to compromise. Jesus didn't die because he was weak. He died because he refused. He stood in a world built on power and ego and said, love your enemies. Forgive those who hurt you. Serve instead of dominate. That message threatens systems, leaders, and mindsets. And when truth threatens control, it is often silenced. But here's what most people miss. The cross wasn't just something done to Jesus. It was something he accepted. He could have walked away. He could have called it quits. Instead, he stayed. Not because nails held him there, but because love did. Why does this matter to you today? Because the same pattern still exists. Truth still costs something. Standing for what's right still isolates people. And choosing faith still requires courage. Jesus never promised an easy life. He promised a meaningful one. And there's a big difference. Easy fades quickly. Meaning lasts forever. Now think about this. If the resurrection is true, then death isn't the end. Fear loses its power. Failure isn't final. And your past doesn't get the last word. That's why the resurrection terrified authorities more than the cross ever did. Because a risen Jesus means hope cannot be buried. But here's the question that decides everything. If Jesus conquered death, then what excuse do we have to keep living trapped by fear, guilt, and emptiness? The answer to that question leads us into the most personal part of this message, and it's where everything becomes real. Let's take this even deeper. The truth Jesus teaches is not theoretical. It is practical, and it is confrontational. Every choice you make either brings you closer to freedom or keeps you chained to fear. And most people spend their lives running in circles, thinking comfort is the goal, not realizing it's a trap. Here's the harsh reality. The world teaches you to measure success by what you have, what people say about you, or how safe your life feels. Jesus flips that on its head. He says success is measured by your heart, by your courage to let go, to forgive, to step into the unknown. And that scares most people because it's not easy. Imagine standing in front of every fear, every regret, every secret you've buried, and realizing only truth will set you free. That's the essence of Jesus' teaching. Not stories, not slogans, not rituals. Real transformation, real freedom comes when you face what you have been avoiding and say, I will not hide it. This is where the eye hook hits. Most people scroll past this idea. Most people watch videos like this, feel inspired for 10 minutes, and go back to life the same way. But the few who let this sink in, who allow the message to reach their core, they're the ones who begin to see real change. And here's the kicker. The reason Jesus' words feel heavy isn't because they are harsh. They feel heavy because they shine a light on the shadows you've been ignoring. The very shadows you tried to distract yourself from with money, approval, or endless busyness. Stay with me, because what I'm about to explain next shows exactly how this light doesn't just expose shadows, it transforms them into strength. Transformation is never comfortable, and that's why most people stop before they reach it. Jesus didn't promise comfort. He promised truth, and truth challenges every part of you that relies on control, pride, or fear. Think about it. If every insecurity, every mistake, every fear you could be confronted and healed, would you face it, or would you keep pretending it doesn't exist? Most people choose the latter, but Jesus calls you to the former. And this is the point where life splits into two paths. One path of temporary pleasure and distraction, the other path of lasting meaning and impact. This path of meaning is not smooth. It is not predictable. It is not popular, but it is real. And real life, true life, has never been about safety. It has always been about courage, commitment, and the willingness to face what others avoid. Let me be clear. The people who followed Jesus didn't follow because it was easy. They followed because somewhere inside, they recognized that staying the same would cost them far more than stepping into the unknown. The cross was proof that true love is fearless. That's why the resurrection wasn't just a miracle, it was a declaration. It said, everything you fear, everything that holds you back can be overcome. And here's where the open loop comes in. If you take this seriously, your life cannot stay the same. Your relationships, your work, your mindset, your fears, they will all be tested. Some things will have to go. Some truths will have to be faced. And if you're willing, the reward is beyond what words can describe. Now consider this. Most people admire courage from a distance. They applaud from their comfort zone. But very few are willing to step out. Very few are willing to face the truth of their own life like this. This is why retention, focus, and consistency matter. Because real change doesn't happen in 10 minutes. It happens in hours, days, and years of attention, reflection, and action. So here's the reality you need to hear. You've spent years learning to avoid discomfort. You've been trained to chase happiness in external things, likes, money, recognition, distractions. But all those things are temporary. None of them can fill the emptiness inside. Only truth, only transformation, only confronting your own heart can. Jesus' message is radical because it goes directly against the natural instincts of human beings. Survival, comfort, ego, all of that is hardwired. But the spirit he teaches, love, courage, humility, requires something you don't want to give up at first: control. Think of the strongest people you know. Do you know how they became strong? Not by avoiding pain, not by running from fear. They became strong by walking through it, by facing the uncomfortable, by allowing truth to break them before it rebuilt them. That's exactly what Jesus calls you to do. And it's exactly why so many admire him, but don't follow him. Here's the open loop for you. The moment you step into this truth, the world will resist. People you love, systems you depend on, habits you've held on to, they will push back. They will try to keep you small, comfortable, and predictable. But if you hold firm, something extraordinary happens. The chains that once held you begin to fall. The same shadows that scared you now become your strength. The same fear that froze you becomes courage. And finally, consider this. The resurrection isn't just about Jesus. It's about a principle that applies to every human life. Life, death, fear, failure, they're not permanent. Transformation is permanent. That is the truth that most people overlook. And that truth, when embraced, changes everything. At some point, every person reaches a quiet moment where noise no longer works. Distractions fail. Entertainment feels empty. And that's when the real questions surface. Not loud questions, honest ones. Questions like, who am I really? And what happens if I keep living like this? This is the moment Jesus' message becomes impossible to ignore. Jesus never chased crowds for attention. He spoke to the individual heart. He understood that transformation doesn't begin in public applause. It begins in private surrender. When no one is watching, when excuses stop working, when truth finally has space to speak. This is why silence is powerful and terrifying at the same time. In silence, you can no longer blame the world. You face yourself, and Jesus meets people exactly there. Not with condemnation, but with clarity. He doesn't say, you are too broken. He says, you are worth changing. That difference alone has saved more lives than people realize. But clarity demands a response. You cannot unsee truth once you recognize it. You either move forward or you retreat deeper into distraction. And most people retreat, not because they are evil, but because courage is rare. Jesus knew this. That's why he said the path is narrow. Not exclusive, just demanding. Narrow because it requires focus. Narrow because it requires attention. Narrow because it asks you to let go of what slows you down. Here's the hook you need to feel. Your life is already moving in a direction. Not choosing is still a choice. Staying the same is still movement, just backward. And the longer you wait, the heavier it becomes. Stay here, because what comes next explains how small decisions, almost invisible ones, shape an entire lifetime. Most lives are not ruined by one big mistake. They're shaped by small compromises repeated daily. Jesus understood this better than anyone. That's why he focused on the heart, not just behavior. Because behavior follows belief, and belief shapes destiny. Think about it. Every habit you have today started as a thought. Every fear started as a lie you accepted. Every strength began as a choice you repeated. Jesus didn't come to manage symptoms. He came to change foundations. This is where many people misunderstand faith. They think it's about rules. It's not. It's about alignment. Aligning your thoughts, your actions, and your purpose with truth. And alignment creates peace, not because life gets easier, but because your soul stops fighting reality. Jesus talked about building your house on rock instead of sand. That wasn't poetry. It was a warning. Storms come to everyone. Pain comes to everyone. Loss comes to everyone. The difference is not who avoids storms, but who survives them. If your life is built on approval, it collapses when people leave. If it's built on money, it collapses when security fades. If it's built on ego, it collapses when failure hits. But when it's built on truth, it bends, but does not break. Here's the open loop. Many people realize this too late. They wait until everything collapses before asking real questions. Jesus offers another way, to rebuild before destruction forces it. And rebuilding doesn't start with perfection. It starts with honesty. One honest moment can redirect an entire future. One decision to stop pretending can unlock freedom you didn't think was possible. What happens when someone actually lives this way? That answer changes how you see strength, success, and purpose forever. Real strength is quiet. It doesn't need to announce itself. Jesus never tried to look powerful by the world's standards. No armies, no taitas, no sro. Yet his influence outlived empires. That tells you something important about the nature of true power. Power that relies on force fades. Power rooted in truth multiplies. That's why Jesus' message still spreads centuries later. Not through fear, but through transformation. Lives change from the inside out. People who truly follow this path don't become perfect. They become grounded. They stop reacting to everything. They stop living for approval. They start responding with intention. And that shift alone separates those who drift through life from those who lead it. This is the moment to pause and reflect. Not emotionally. Honestly, are you living by design or by default? Are your days intentional or automatic? Jesus' message forces this question because it exposes autopilot living. Autopilot feels safe, but it slowly drains meaning. Intention feels risky, but it restores purpose. And purpose is what gives suffering context. Without purpose, pain feels pointless. With purpose, pain becomes a teacher. Jesus never wasted suffering. He transformed it. And that's the invitation still on the table. Not to escape hardship, but to grow through it. Not to avoid truth, but to live aligned with it. Here's the closing loop for this section. Everything you've heard so far leads to one unavoidable realization. Your life matters more than you've been taught to believe. Your choices echo longer than you think. And the direction you choose today quietly shapes the person you become tomorrow. And we're not done yet, because the next part reveals how this truth plays out in everyday life. Relationships, fear, failure, and the moments no one else sees. Before you leave, pause for just a moment. If this message made you think, if it touched something inside you, or if it gave you clarity you didn't have before, don't keep it to yourself. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it today. Sometimes one share can change a life more than we realize. And if you want more content like this, deep, meaningful, and real, make sure you subscribe to this channel. Videos like this are posted here regularly, so you never miss a message that can strengthen your mindset, your faith, and your direction in life. Also, very soon I'll be doing collaborations with my main channel and other powerful channels where even more impactful content will be shared. When you see those collaborations, don't forget to subscribe to those channels as well, especially my main channel that I collaborate from. Your support helps this message reach more people who are searching for truth, purpose, and hope. Stay connected, stay intentional, and remember, your life has meaning, and your choices matter more than you think. I want to tell you something. Stop for a moment and listen carefully, because the weight you've been carrying in your heart for so long was never meant for you to carry alone. I never asked you to handle everything by yourself. I've seen the exhaustion you hide from everyone, the fear that quietly surrounds you at night. You smile during the day, but inside you're worn down, and still you tell yourself that everything is fine. Listen to me. I never promised you an easy life, but I did promise you that you would never be alone. You didn't break because you were weak. You were tired because you tried to carry every pain by yourself. My strength is made perfect in your weakness. And this is the truth most people never understand. You keep worrying about tomorrow today, carrying fear for things that haven't even happened yet. That's why I tell you, do not worry about tomorrow. Today was given to you, so you can live today. And tomorrow I will take care of myself. If your heart feels heavy, right now, come to me. If your prayers feel unanswered, come to me anyway, because I see you, I hear you, and I'm still changing lives today. And now I want to ask you something. If these words reach your heart, then like this video right now, so this message can reach someone who desperately needs it today. Subscribe to this channel so you're never alone when your heart feels broken. And share this video, because your one share could be the moment that changes someone's entire life. And comment. Amen if you trust me.
to stop what you're doing and listen. Not later. Not after the distractions settle. Now. Because what I'm about to say is not just another message, it's a divine interruption. I'm in the same room as you. Yes, the very space you're in right now is filled with my presence, and you have no idea what's already moving around you. This is not comfort speech. This is holy confrontation. You've been asking if I'm still near, and I'm about to prove it. So don't you dare scroll. Don't you mute me halfway. Don't treat this like background noise. Watch until the final breath of this word, because I will speak things that rewrite your atmosphere. Every second is laced with purpose. Every moment is charged with glory. Stay, child, because if you walk away too soon, you'll miss what you were born to hear. My beloved child, hush the noise of your surroundings and the whirlwind of thoughts in your head. This is not a casual moment. It is not fleeting or random or imagined. It is divine. It is deliberate. And it is happening now. Right now. While your eyes read these words and your chest rises and falls with every breath, I am here. Not just watching. Not just thinking of you from a distance. I am in the same room. The very room where your pain has echoed in silence. The room where your prayers have been whispered between tears. I am standing beside you with the full weight of my glory, yet with the tenderness of a father whose love cannot be measured. This isn't poetic imagery. This isn't some comforting thought crafted to make you feel better. This is the truth, your reality, and it's more real than the chair beneath you or the walls surrounding you. My presence is not far off. It is not a hope or a way. It is here. I have stepped in not because something went wrong, but because something had been set right. The time, the alignment, the call in your spirit, they've all merged into this sacred second. And I chose this very breath to make you aware. You are not alone. You've waited for my voice, hoping for signs in the sky or miracles that shout with thunder. But child, I'm not just a God of spectacle. I am the God of stillness, of breath, of intimacy. And I chose to step into your room with quiet majesty because I wanted you to feel me before you saw me. I didn't send a messenger. I didn't tap someone else on the shoulder to comfort you. I came myself. I've watched your soul grow weary with wondering if I left, if I grew distant, if perhaps you did something wrong that made me turn away. But hear me. Not only have I never left, I have been leaning in, waiting for your spirit to be still enough to notice that I was here all along. My child, what you're feeling right now is not just emotion. It is encounter. It is the brush of eternity against time, the echo of my voice that never stopped speaking, even when your ears couldn't discern it. You were never waiting for me to arrive. I was waiting for the silence to become deep enough that your heart could hear the truth. I'm in the room. And when I step into a space, it becomes sacred. It becomes holy ground. So take off the shoes of performance. Lay aside the garments of guilt and shame. Stand, or weep, or kneel, however your soul must respond, but do it knowing this. You are not entertaining a fantasy. You are experiencing the nearness of your Creator. And I did not come to visit. I came to stay. My beloved, I've listened to every whisper that trembled out of your chest when you thought no one was awake. I've seen your face pressed against the tear-soaked pillow, your voice too fragile to rise above a whisper. And yet, that whisper was thunder in my ears. You didn't realize it, but every syllable you've spoken in pain became a sound that shifted heaven. You may have cried yourself into sleep thinking I was distant, but child, I was right there. I didn't just hear your words, I felt the ache behind them. I didn't need volume to be moved. I needed your honesty. And oh, how you've been honest with me in the darkness. You never had to shout for me to hear you. You never had to write the perfect prayer or quote a single verse to capture my attention. You simply had to be real, and you were. In your weakness, I leaned in closer. In your trembling vulnerability, I drew near with all the tenderness of a father who never grows weary of his child's voice. I was never looking for performance. I was waiting for the rawness of your heart, and you gave it to me. I want you to know that I didn't stand back, watching you suffer from some distant heaven. No, I came down and sat beside you. I was in the quiet corner of your room, closer than your own breath. I watched the war behind your smile, the exhaustion behind your routine. And while the world saw someone strong, I saw someone carrying too much alone. And that's why I chose this moment, right here, right now, to tell you, you don't have to carry it alone anymore. I'm not waiting for you to clean yourself up or finish your breakdown so I can step in. I already have. My rope is brushing the broken places on your floor. My hand is resting on the parts of your heart that ache silently. This is not figurative, child. This is me, Emmanuel, God with you, seated in the room, feeling the temperature of your sorrow, wrapping myself around the chill of your loneliness. You thought, if God really loved me, wouldn't I feel him? And I say to you, you have felt me, in the moments when strength surged for no reason, when peace quieted the chaos without warning, when tears fell but didn't destroy you. That was me, not a metaphor. So listen closely now, because I'm speaking straight into that place inside you that still wonders if your voice matters to me. I'm telling you not as a distant king, but as the one sitting at the foot of your bed right now. I have heard every word, even the ones you were too afraid to say out loud. Even the words you whispered to the ceiling at 3 a.m., hoping someone, anyone, might be listening. I didn't just hear them. I caught them. I stored them in the archives of heaven as holy. Not one syllable was wasted. Not one question went unnoticed. Not one ache was too small for my concern. You need to know this. When others dismissed your struggle, I archived it. When others ignored your pain, I engraved it. And when you thought no one saw what it cost you to keep trusting me, I saw everything. I don't forget what you say in private. In fact, the things spoken in secret have the loudest impact in my kingdom. Because the prayers born from pain are the ones that shift atmospheres. And yours, beloved, have not only moved me, they've moved what you can't see. You thought I was silent, but I was answering you in realms beyond your comprehension. Before you even opened your eyes today, I was already here, waiting, preparing, anticipating this encounter. Before the weight of this world pressed its fingerprints on your shoulders again, I had already written my fingerprints across the timeline of your day. Nothing you've experienced today was unknown to me. Not the weariness, not the disappointments, not the aching silence you've grown used to. I saw it all coming, and I positioned this moment as a divine collision between your desperation and my sovereignty. You didn't just stumble into this message. You were summoned. You were drawn by an invisible cord of grace, one I've been tightening around your heart slowly, gently, lovingly, until you could no longer ignore the tug. A tug, beloved, was me. I've orchestrated this exact breath, this very second, this quiet room, this screen before you, because I needed to say something that all your noise, all your striving, all your survival could no longer drown out. You are not invisible to me. You may have felt people, overlooked by opportunities, bypassed by blessing, but child, never once have you been forgotten by me. I have etched your name into the folds of eternity. It doesn't fade. It doesn't slip through the cracks of divine memory. You are not lost in the crowd of my creation. You are the focus of my attention. You are the subject of my orchestration. And this moment is not just a passing comfort. This is divine proof that I still write your name in places the world cannot access. This is heaven's handwritten reminder that you matter more than you've dared to believe lately. I didn't allow you to feel the weight of loneliness to punish you. I allowed it so you could finally distinguish the counterfeit from the real. And this, what you're feeling right now, this holy interruption, this sacred warmth stirring deep in your chest, this is the realest thing you've encountered in a long time. This is the voice of the one who never left. Let me be clear, my child. I did not abandon you in the hallway of heartbreak. I walked those corridors beside you. I held your hand when you felt it go numb. I steadied your knees when they buckled under the burden of unanswered questions. I was there in every why, in every how long, in every sigh that didn't make it into language. The enemy has tried to convince you that your invisibility means irrelevance. But I say to you, your hiddenness was intentional. I was shielding you while I prepared you. I was hiding you while I healed you. I was quiet, not because I forgot you, but because I was preparing the platform upon which your purpose will stand. And I couldn't let premature eyes see what I was still perfecting in secret. But now, the veil is thinning. Now, the silence is giving way to sound. And now, the unseen becomes undeniable. I'm not just reminding you that you're not alone. I'm proving it. With my presence, with my power, with a moment so saturated in me, it will become the cornerstone of your next chapter. This is not the end of your waiting. This is the turning of the page. My beloved, the atmosphere around you is not still, it is saturated. Saturated with glory. Soaked in the scent of breakthrough. Thick with the weight of what has long been prophesied over your life. And though your natural senses may still be trying to catch up, your spirit already knows. It recognizes the rhythm of my footsteps, the quiet combustion of the divine in motion. That stirring you felt in the stillness. That unexplained ache that rose in your chest when nothing around you seemed to warrant it. That wasn't anxiety. It was awakening. I have entered the room, and with me comes the tremble of transformation. I don't step lightly when I step in love. And for you, beloved, I stepped in with thunder disguised as tenderness. Every cell in your being is reacting, even if your mind doesn't know how to name it. That heat behind your eyes, the inexplicable pressure in your chest, those aren't random. They're resonance. Your soul is echoing the presence it was designed to long for. I am shifting the atmosphere not with noise but with weight. Not with a scream but with sacred stillness. When I move, it's not always loud, but it is never small. The weight of my glory settles like thick dew on dry ground. It sinks into the places where you felt barren and breathless. This is not imagination. This is incarnation, the word becoming presence, not just in the world but in your world, in your very room. The temperature of your circumstance is changing, not because conditions are perfect, but because I showed up. You've been asking when will something finally shift, and here's my answer. Now. Not next year. Not when you're stronger. Not when you have more faith. The shift begins not when the world makes sense, but when your spirit begins to sense me. And child, it already has. Your inner world is vibrating with anticipation because heaven has descended, and it's not leaving empty-handed. Don't be surprised if things begin to feel unfamiliar. The shift doesn't bring comfort first. It brings contrast. What once felt safe may now feel suffocating. What used to satisfy may suddenly seem stale. That's not a sign that something is wrong. That's a sign that you've changed. The old wineskin cannot contain the new wine. I'm expanding your capacity by stretching what's been too tight for too long. Yes, the ground beneath you is moving. Yes, the air around you is charged. Yes, the ache in your spirit is real. But none of it is chaos. It is consecration. I'm not disturbing your world to destroy it. I'm disrupting it to deliver you into something deeper. Something designed. Something drenched in the details of your destiny. I didn't come to tickle your emotions. I came to till the soil of your calling, to break through the hardened places and make room for the seeds I've planted to erupt and bloom. So do not fear the shift. Do not retreat from the shaking. This isn't the enemy rattling your cage. It's me rattling the chains. Chains of disappointment. Chains of delay. Chains of diminished dreams. I'm not here to ask for permission. I'm here to possess what is mine. And you, beloved, are mine. Fully deeply, irrevocably. The atmosphere knows it. The angels surrounding you know it. The enemy knows it. And now it's time you remember it. When I step into a room, things must bow. Fear must flee. Confusion must dissolve. Hope must rise. That's the climate of my presence, and it is the climate you're breathing in now. This is not a metaphor. This is manifestation. This is me, interrupting the rhythm of the world around you to restore the sound of heaven within you. Feel it. Hear it. Receive it. The shift has begun, and it has your name written all over it. You've called it anxiety. You've named it panic. You've tried to silence it with distractions, drown it in noise, suffocate it with logic. But child, that tightness wasn't a threat, it was a tout, a holy touch, a divine disruption. You weren't losing control. You were coming into alignment. That pressure in your chest wasn't the world closing in on you. It was your spirit expanding, stretching, breaking open under the weight of awakening. You weren't being crushed. You were being called. You see, when my presence gets close, your body responds. Your breath stutters. Your thoughts scatter. Your heart begins to pound because it's sensing something deeper than intellect. That's not chaos. That's contact. Heaven colliding with humanity. Eternity brushing against your temporal mind. And it's me. It's always been me. The ache, the weight, the sudden rush of unexplainable emotion. Those weren't symptoms of disorder. They were signals of divine order returning to the places inside you that have been crying out for me. You keep looking for peace to feel like stillness. But peace is not always passive. Sometimes peace presses in, stirs you awake, and confronts the slumber of your spirit. I didn't come to numb you. I came to ignite you. To provoke the part of you that stopped feeling, stopped hoping, stopped believing I would actually show up like this. And so I used what you called anxiety as an alarm clock, not to torment you, but to tenderize you. The heaviness wasn't punishment. It was preparation. You were feeling pressure because I was placing my hand on your heart. Not to weigh it down, but to rewire it. To recalibrate your capacity to sense me again. This world has dulled your sensitivity, desensitized you with endless distractions and shallow answers. So I came closer. And when I did, everything inside of you began to respond. Not with terror, but with tremble. A holy trembling. The kind that awakens dry bones and quickens dead places back to life. And now that you know, child, stop calling what's divine by the names the world has assigned. This isn't panic. This is presence. This isn't breakdown. This is breakthrough. I'm not attacking you. I'm awakening you. and the awakening begins in the body before it ever reaches the mind. You didn't need to understand what was happening to you to be changed by it. What mattered was your willingness to stay, to breathe through it, to cry through it, to trust me in the middle of it. And you did. You stayed. You didn't shut me out, even when you did recognize it was me. And now, here we are, in the aftermath of that pressure, in the soft space of revelation. I was never trying to scare you. I was simply shaking loose the numbness that had settled on your soul. I came for your heart, not just your head. I came for your nearness, not your performance. And now I want you to embrace what you've been resisting. Let the tears fall. Let the breath come deeper. Let your hands open. The pressure has shifted into presence. The ache has transformed into access. And the same weight that once overwhelmed you is now the glory resting on your shoulders. You didn't imagine this. You didn't exaggerate it. You survived it, and now you are being transformed by it. Because I didn't just let you feel me. I let you carry the evidence of my presence. That evidence will stay with you. It will become your discernment. It will become your direction. And most of all, it will become your reminder that even when it felt like everything was caving in, I was caving in the walls that once kept you from me. My child, I know what it's felt like lately, like you've been walking through rooms dimmed by delay, corridors clouded with confusion, days draped in shadows. You kept looking for the light, hoping it would break through the cracks of your routine, waiting for a sign, a flicker, a spark. But you began to wonder, was it always this dim? Or did the light simply leave me? And I lean in now to tell you this. The light didn't leave. It was shielded, preserved, hidden for the holy hour when your heart could hold it again without fear. And that hour is now. The light you thought was fading is about to blaze again. But this time, it won't flicker in and out. This time, it won't dance on the edge of uncertainty. This time, it will flood your world with brilliance. It will be brighter than you remember, not because the light has changed, but because you have. You've been tempered by tears, sharpened by silence, and prepared by perseverance. You don't need the soft light of reassurance anymore. You're ready for the glory glow of revelation. This light, my light, doesn't just illuminate your path. It restores your identity. It reminds your soul that it was never meant to survive in darkness, but to shine, to shimmer, to reflect the radiance of the one who formed it. You are not just a recipient of light. You are a carrier of it. And the reason you felt the ache so deeply when the light seemed to dim is because your soul remembers Eden. It remembers the unbroken fellowship, the walking together in the cool of the day. That's what's been stirring inside of you. Not anxiety, not emptiness, but an ancient ache for nearness. And I say this now, my nearness does not bring pressure. It brings peace. Not a passive peace that settles for survival, but a roaring, radiant, resounding peace that rebuilds what was broken. It doesn't whisper, it roars. My peace walks into the battlefield of your emotions and silences every lie with a single breath. My peace doesn't ask your permission to heal. It simply enters and establishes itself like a kingdom reclaiming lost territory. You've been measuring your life by how long the darkness has lasted. But I'm measuring it by the depth of light that's about to be revealed. Your midnight is not a monument. It's a setup. The darkness was never permanent. It was only there to create contrast. So when my light breaks in, it won't just change your surroundings. It will transform your soul. So don't flinch when the brightness returns. Don't shield your eyes from the very thing you once begged for. Let it in. Let it warm your frozen places. Let it flood the corners you thought were too far gone. The cold seasons did not kill your calling, they clarified it. And now, my light is coming, not as a trickle, but as a tidal wave. Brighter than your past, stronger than your pain, warmer than the love you lost. This is not recycled comfort. This is resurrected communion. And it begins with one simple truth. I never left. I never withdrew. I never turned my face away. I've been walking with you through the shadows, not because I needed you to suffer, but because I needed you to learn to discern me even when the lights went out. Now, child, look up. The dawn is breaking, and it carries your name. You've asked me over and over again, God, if this is real, you give me a sign. You wanted something obvious, undeniable, unshakable. Something that couldn't be dismissed as coincidence. You didn't want comfort, you wanted confirmation. You didn't need another inspirational word. You needed a divine interruption. And beloved, here it is. This moment, this breath, this encounter, is not another message. It's not another nice idea. Is me. I didn't send a signal. I didn't delegate this delivery. I didn't whisper it to angels or drop it in shadows. I came myself. Because what you're walking through is too important for second-hand revelation. I came to meet you in person, in spirit, in the sacred intersection between your question and my answer. You stood at the crossroads of doubt and desire, whispering prayers you were scared to say out loud. You wanted to believe. Oh, how you wanted to. But you were afraid to be wrong again. Afraid to get your hopes up only to see them dashed. Afraid that maybe this wasn't really me speaking after all. But I tell you now, with thunder behind every syllable and tenderness in every pause, this is me. And I'm not just responding to your need. I'm fulfilling a promise. You asked for clarity, and clarity doesn't always come through clouds parting or stars aligning. Sometimes it comes through a sacred whisper that pierces deeper than sound. Sometimes it comes when your spirit knows before your mind can understand. And that's what's happening now. A heat behind your eyes. That pull in your chest. That tremble in your soul that refuses to settle. That is me, confirming what you already suspected deep down but didn't dare believe. I am speaking. And you are hearing me rightly. You thought, maybe I'm just making this up. You're not. You thought, maybe it's just wishful thinking. Is it? I am confirming what you've only had glimpses of until now. I'm coming close not to demand, but to validate. I'm removing the FOD. I'm removing the need for middlemen. I'm speaking to you, directly, intimately, undeniably. And I'm doing it because this season of your life requires precision, not guesswork. You can't afford to hesitate anymore. You can't afford to walk half sure, half doubtful. And so, I stepped in, not with suggestion, but with certainty. I am speaking, and you are hearing. And let me tell you this. I would never train your spirit to hear me, only to confuse you. I would never teach you my tone, only to speak in riddles. No, beloved, my voice is becoming familiar. My presence is becoming your compass. And you don't need to explain that to anyone else. I didn't come to convince the crowd, I came to confirm your calling. So breathe. Stop asking for another sign. Stop questioning if this moment is holy. It is. I've surrounded it, saturated it, sealed it with the signature of heaven. You don't need to wait for lightning to strike or fire to fall. The confirmation you asked for isn't coming from outside. It's rising from within. Because the one who called you is the one who confirms you. And I am here, with you, in you. around you. This is not the voice of motivation. This is the voice of the Messiah. This is not another word of hope. It is a decree from heaven. What you've been sensing, I now say aloud. Yes, it's me. Yes, I'm calling. Yes, you're hearing rightly. Yes, this is the time. And yes, I came myself, because you're worth the journey. You may have grown so accustomed to being left behind, to being overlooked, to doors staying closed, that you almost expected me to do the same. But I didn't. I don't knock when the door is already mine. I don't wait to be invited into the very heart I created with my own hands. I don't hesitate when my child is hurting. I enter, without permission, without warning, without apology. Because when love is this deep, it doesn't stay on the sidelines. And child, I need you to hear this. I didn't just show up. I moved in. I stepped through the atmosphere with intention, carrying not just comfort, but covenant. Not just compassion, but command. You didn't even know how close you were to breaking, and that's why I broke through first. I interrupted your spiral. I intercepted your collapse. I entered not as a visitor but as the victor, the one who wars for what belongs to him. And you, beloved, are mine. I don't leave mine in storms unshielded. I don't abandon them to the accusations of the enemy or the isolation of the midnight hour. I come armed with presence. I come soaked in mercy. I come clothed in justice. I step into the battlefield that fear erected around you, and I declare, this ground is no longer a war zone. It's holy. You didn't summon me with polished prayers. You didn't even call me by name. But I came anyway, because I saw what you couldn't say. I heard what never left your lips, and I knew that delay would be defeat. So I overrode protocol and descended into your very space with the full weight of heaven's authority. This is not poetic. This is personal. This is not a dream. This is divine reality. I didn't need your invitation because your ache was loud enough. The groan of your spirit summoned me more powerfully than any formal request ever could. And now that I'm here, truly, fully, undeniably, I need you to stop apologizing for being needy. I want you to stop feeling guilty for falling apart. I didn't show up because you had it all together. I showed up because you didn't. I didn't wait for your posture to be perfect. I came because your pain was prophetic. It was the proof that your heart is still alive, still open, still reaching, even if your arms were too tired to stretch. You are not an afterthought. You are not an obligation. You are not a burden I reluctantly carry. You are my beloved, my priority, my joy. And when you started to lose your grip, I tightened mine. When you started to fade, I came with fire. When you couldn't stand, I stood over you with a shield of my name. That's who I am. Not a distant deity waiting for performance, but a relentless father who rushes into rooms no one else dares to enter. So don't ask me if I'm staying. Don't wonder if I'll retreat. I didn't come to visit. I came to abide. I'm not peeking in through the window of your heart hoping you'll let me stay. I've already made myself at home in the places you thought were too messy to be holy. And listen, the reason I didn't knock is because I never left. I've been here, silent, maybe, but never absent. Waiting, yes, but never walking away. I don't leave mine. I don't lose mine. I don't overlook mine. You may feel lost in the world, but you're found in me. I came to remind you. I came to rescue you. I came to remain. Oh, my precious child, how often you've wept in silence, smiling with cracked lips and trembling hands. You didn't let anyone see the war behind your eyes. You kept functioning when you were falling apart inside. You put on strength like a borrowed garment, hoping it would last just long enough to get through the next conversation, the next obligation, the next unbearable day. And while others were applauding themselves for victories they shouted aloud, you were fighting in the shadows. Alone. Undervalued. Uncelebrated. But not unseen. Ever unseen. I watched every single step. And not as a passive observer, but as a weeping witness. As a father who never took his eyes off his child. Every silent tear was a declaration of faith. Every hidden breakdown was a burnt offering on the altar of surrender. Every time you chose not to quit, even when quitting made the most sense, heaven paused and wrote it down. Yes, I have a record. Not of your mistakes, not of your missteps, but of your moments of obedience under pressure. You kept walking when your legs ached with despair. You kept speaking life when your own mouth wanted to taste bitterness. You kept extending grace when your heart was bruised by betrayal. And I didn't just notice. I honored it. I archived it. I documented every defiant act of faith you perform in secret, when no one was watching but me. Do you know what that makes you? Not weak, not foolish, but dangerous. Because those who keep walking without applause are the ones I trust with assignments that require integrity. You didn't perform for attention. You persevered for purpose. And child, I saw it all. The quiet battles, the muffled cries, the I'm okay-s that hit a breaking heart. You were never faking, you were fighting. And now, it's time for the reward that doesn't come in stages, it comes in suddenness. Because with heaven wicked, heaven responds. I'm not letting one tear go unredeemed. I'm not leaving one sacrificial yes unnoticed. Your loyalty in obscurity is what has activated visibility. You thought I was waiting for a better version of you to bless, but I was waiting for the perfect moment to release what your hidden faith made room for. This isn't a delayed response. It's a designed release. And what's coming now is not a single answer to a single prayer. It's a divine avalanche of long-held promises, stored behind the veil until your spirit could carry their weight without crumbling. What you did quietly, I'm about to honor publicly. What you gave up in private, I'm about to replace in ways that leave no room for doubt. So stop rehearsing the moments you thought were meaningless. Stop thinking your obedience was wasted because no one noticed. I noticed. I noticed when you stayed loyal while being overlooked. I noticed when you forgave without receiving closure. I noticed when you believed when belief felt like a mockery. And child, I am the God who keeps receipts. I'm the one who weighs tears heavier than words. I am the Father who turns hidden obedience into historic outpouring. You were never passed over. You were preserved. You were never denied. You were divinely documented. And now, heaven is cashing in every tear. The scroll is being opened. The season is shifting. And the steps you thought were invisible are the very ones I'm now using to build your elevation. Oh, my precious one. Let me tell you something that religion may have whispered wrongly. I don't require a clean room to enter. I don't wait for spotless floors and perfect prayers. I don't hesitate at the sight of chaos. I don't flinch at the sound of weeping. I don't recoil from disorder. I don't require silence. I don't demand excellence. I come for the mess. The very mess you've been trying to hide from me. That's the exact address I was drawn to. The room doesn't scare me. The tears don't stop me. The unmade bed, the unopened bills, the anxious energy in the air. None of it makes me turn away. In fact, that's where my love shines brightest. Not in sanctuaries made of stone and stained glass, but in the broken spaces where you thought no holy thing would dare step. You've tried so hard to tidy your soul, to mop up the grief, sweep away the guilt, organize the trauma into tidy little boxes so it wouldn't offend me. But child, I'm not offended by your pain. I'm drawn to it. You think I only dwell in places with peace, but I create peace in places where none can be found. You think I need quiet to speak, but I speak through storms, through sobs, through screams. You think I wait for order, but I hover over chaos, just like I did at the very beginning. In the beginning, the earth was without form and void, and darkness was over the face of the deep. And yet, there I was, moving, hovering, speaking light into darkness, form into formlessness. And what I did in Genesis, I am doing again now, in your life, in this room. I've come to hover over the mess, not because I'm helpless, but because I'm about to reshape everything. Don't let the enemy lie to you another day longer. Don't believe the whisper that says you must fix yourself before you feel me. Don't fall for the falsehood that says your imperfection disqualifies you from my presence. It's your honesty, not your hygiene, that draws me close. I don't need your perfection. I long for your permission, not to enter, but to heal. Because I'm already here, already near, already holding space for you to break. I'm not here to critique the chaos. I'm here to consecrate it. I'm here to declare that what was once a battlefield is now a birthing room. The pain is real, but so is my power. The grief is deep, but so is my grace. The brokenness is raw, but so is my restoration. I am not turned off by the clutter of your soul. I am turning the clutter into covenant, the disorder into destiny, a mess into a miracle. So drop the act. Let the mask fall.